Today, we're going to talk about breakfast. And if you're like most people, you're probably eating breakfast wrong, which is making it harder to lose fat, making it more likely that you'll gain fat, and impacting your energy levels as well. So, if you're grabbing a quick bowl of cereal, toast, or even skipping breakfast entirely, you're setting yourself up for cravings, low energy, and fat storage. So, my goal here is to show you exactly how to build a fat burning breakfast that'll take less than 5 minutes to make without you having to track the calories or eat the boring foods. So, let's get into it. So, why does breakfast matter for fat loss in the first place? So, your metabolism works best when your body knows that food is abundant. So, skipping breakfast is going to signal to stress to your body. So, essentially, if there's no food available, your body thinks something's wrong. It's going to get stressed. Higher cortisol levels are going to lead to fat storage, as well as your body just wanting to store fat just for safety reasons, just to make sure that there's energy there if there is a famine. So, that's definitely not what we want to do. And then eating the wrong foods are going to impact insulin levels. So when the body releases insulin, that triggers fat storage. If we're increasing levels of insulin too often, our body's going to get stuck in that fat storage mode and it's not going to be getting into the fat burning mode. Whereas on the other hand, eating the right breakfast is going to help stabilize blood sugar, which is going to positively impact insulin. It's going to reduce cravings, making it easier to stay on track, and it's going to impact your energy levels too in a good way. So, we are going to cover how to do that, but first I just want to cover some common breakfast pitfalls. So, many people resort to high carb, low protein breakfast just because they're so easy. So, things like cereal, toast, bagels, juice, oatmeal, all those sorts of things. These are going to spike insulin, which, like I said, is going to lead to fat storage, but it's also going to lead to less stable energy levels throughout the day. So, this is often why you'll get to, 10 o'clock in the morning, maybe 11, and you're starving, your energy's low, and you want either coffee or something sweet just to get you through till lunchtime. So, high carb breakfast can increase hunger and impact your ability to focus at work as well, which often shows up as brain fog. So, you might notice this depending on what you eat. You might notice this more now. But if you do have a higher carb breakfast, it tends to show up as an inability to focus and just struggling with brain fog, especially through the morning. So, if your breakfast isn't dialed in, you're going to overeat later, you're going to feel sluggish and struggle with weight loss. So, fixing your breakfast is one of the fastest ways to flip your body into that fat burning mode. So, in terms of what we're actually going to eat, we want to be starting with protein. So, the goal is to get 30 grams minimum in breakfast. This applies to every meal as well, but especially at breakfast. That's going to help with that blood sugar stabilization. It's going to help your metabolism work better, and it's going to keep you fuller for longer so you can actually get to lunchtime or maybe even beyond without feeling hungry and without having those energy crashes. So, some good options here are things like Greek yogurt with protein powder, eggs with smoked salmon, things like chicken sausage with eggs, or, something like cottage cheese with berries and almonds. The second step is smart fats. So, fats are really important because they slow down digestion and they're going to help keep your energy levels steady. So, some good options here are avocado, egg yolks, and then something like grass fed butter or ghee. Those are all really good sources of fats. Step three is smart carbs. So these are optional. So we obviously have been talking about carbs. Carbs aren't bad, but we need to be aware of which carbs we're eating and when we're eating them. So if you're just going straight to work to sit at your desk, you probably don't need carbs in the morning. Some people feel better with them. This is going to be something you're going to have to play around with, but most people don't need carbs. And if you're doing a workout, so some people will eat breakfast and then do a workout, you'd probably want to incorporate some smart carbs just because carbs are so important for energy. That way you're showing up at your workout, you're better able to perform, you're going to get better results in the long run. So carbs are not optional, but they're a good tool. And some good options here are things like berries, sweet potatoes. These are my favorite carbs. They're easily the best carb out there. Oats, which you'll want to combine with protein and fat. So don't just have oatmeal. We want to be adding things to the oatmeal, or something like sourdough toast. So if it's a properly fermented sourdough where it's been fermented for 72 hours, it's really easy to digest. There's going to be a lower insulin response and lower inflammation as well in the body. If your goal is to lose fat, especially if you want to lose fat quite quickly, we want to make sure you're keeping carbs low in the morning. But as I said, if you're training, then you probably do want to add in some carbs. So, for some examples, We've got a high protein Greek yogurt bowl. So this is Greek yogurt, which is already high in protein. We're going to add in some protein powder and then add berries, nuts, maybe like a sugar-free granola. Make sure you check the ingredients or make your own there, just to add a bit of texture and a bit more protein as well. The second example, we've got eggs with smoked salmon. So eggs however you want them with some salmon. That's really high protein, really high in good fats, really low in carbs. Cottage cheese and almonds, so similar to the Greek yogurt. Cottage cheese is also very high in protein. You can add whatever you want there, nuts, cinnamon, berries, whatever you want to add to that. And my favorite is eggs on sourdough. You can add some avocado for extra fats, but I'm a big fan of sourdough in the morning. I'll usually have it with 3 eggs, and then I do actually also have a Greek yogurt bowl as well, just to make sure my protein is really high. So all of these meals are going to take less than 5 minutes to make, and they should keep you full for a long time. Okay, so for the final checklist, if you want to burn fat, stay full, and have higher energy levels throughout the day, you're going to want 30 grams of protein at breakfast. You're going to want to include smart fats with that. So being really careful about your fats, the quality of your fats that you're eating is crucial. And then carbs if you're training early, and making sure that all this takes 5 minutes or less. If you want to go the extra mile, you can prep a lot of this beforehand. So either the night before, you could do it in bulk and make enough for a few days in a row. So that's the secret to having a breakfast that is going to help you burn fat rather than store fat. You really want to be getting your body into that fat burning mode, especially if you want to keep the weight off long term.